Hey guys, it's Brian from XS Motorworks, and hey, thanks for checking my shop out. So if you're new to my channel, I know I just picked up a ton of subscribers from Brent over at PFI Speed for kind of giving me a shout out, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to actually look at what I've got going on. So as I talked in his video, I'm actually building two supercars and actually even building a third thing right now. The two supercars I'm calling Project Split Decision. So this is actually a custom chassis using Corvette C7 suspension. The cradle is actually a Corvette C6 because I want to use a little more of a traditional rack and pinion steering unit versus what's on the C7. But other than that, it's C7 suspension component, C7 brakes on a custom chassis that I designed. What you're looking at here is an 8th gen Honda Civic Coupe. I've actually harvested this cabin basically, and all these little dots are the scanning dots that I did when I brought the car in and actually worked on the design aspects to make sure that the lines would actually accommodate the use of the glass, both the glass off the Corvette C7 and the glass off the Honda, to make sure I had a nice smooth body line as well as just really good proportions and an overall look. So where we're at right now is we kind of walk through the shop. So this is going to be the gas car. So the gas car is powered by this setup over here. And what I've got here is a Ford Illuminator XS. Yes, it's a little dusty right now, but that's all right. So this is actually from Ford Racing, the Ford Illuminator XS. It's the 5-liter version, not the 5.2, but I do have a Ford GT supercharger. I'm making a custom plate that allows me to mount the supercharger to the actual motor, because this is actually set up for the 5.2. The transmission is actually out of a Lamborghini Gallardo. I've actually had to re-gear that. I put what's called a drop gear into it. The original Lamborghini transmission is set up for a high revving V12. This is a V8 application, so I needed to actually change the gear ratio. The electric car is actually using the Tesla motor here, the large Tesla motor. Again, it's been polka dotted up because we scanned that. And the reason why we scanned that is another project. Hold on, let me get Rashaud's project out of here. Before you see, we'll talk about this real quick. I'm going to link to Rashaud's channel as well. So we actually have a challenge going on, and it's a gas versus electric, and I actually switched up to a hybrid. And you'll see in my video post that I've actually got a series about my hybrid cart. We'll cover that here in just a second. But Rashaud saw my cart and said, wow, he started out with this basic cart, and now he's going to basically chop this in half, merge these two together, and have some suspension. This thing was just not going to cut it considering what I was coming to him with. So pretty exciting about that. This is actually a project that Anthony is working on. This is a Corsa Concepts. And what we're doing with this project here is doing the body panels. So we use my 5-axis CNC mill to actually produce these body panels. This is a rapid prototype job, and there's going to be some modifications. You can see there's cut lines and different things that need to be worked through. It's very, very close though. So the rapid prototype using that 5-axis machine really came through. These are for Corsa, and his project is coming along beautifully. If you look at this thing, it's really got it's going to be a 3-wheel trike with a Hayabusa motor in it. And it's got basically a fighter, jet fighter kind of appearance to it. So really a slick line, very, very pretty looking trike. Very excited about this one. This is going to come down. We're going to be doing some runs with this guy when he comes down to Georgia again at the tail of the dragon when this thing's all done. And back over here a little bit. So this is the electric version of the same car. If it wasn't clear, my Project Split Decision, they are actually 100% identical. The only going to be difference is the powertrain and obviously the batteries. But dimension-wise, the only difference is they have different mounting cradles for the powertrains. But other than that, they're basically the same. The tunnel width is going to be the same. Everything that I'm trying to basically see a true life comparison between gas versus electric. A lot of times you have a gas car and it's hard to compare because they're not set up the same. So these two cars are going to be set up identical, and hopefully we'll see where that's at. This is actually a mini sprint car. It's a 1000cc Honda Civic. All I'm doing with this one is helping somebody out, and I'm wiring up the fuel tech in this guy. So this is a little project that probably won't be in the next video because it hopefully will be done and out of here. And as I alluded to just a second ago, we've got this MR2. And so this is going to be an electric MR2. Everything's been scanned, the Tesla motor's been scanned, and we are actually working on the cradle that is going to allow us to mount the MR2 or mount the Tesla motor inside the MR2. The challenge with the MR2 is this tunnel is pretty narrow. Trying to find a battery pack, might have to make a custom battery pack because it's pretty tight in here. So we're still working through some design challenges with the Toyota. And last but not least, we've got my mini split D. So mini split decision, this is kind of taking on a life of its own. When I'm designing the car, I didn't want to go to full production scale model right off the bat. The reason for that is the molds could change. You design something in the computer, it looks really, really good, but then when you actually make it in real life, you might have to make some design changes. So this is supposed to be, was going to be just a two-third scale rolling chassis. Unfortunately, Rashaud got involved, and as I kind of already alluded to, and I'll put a link in his video, we're going to be doing some racing. So that meant that I had to make this thing a whole lot better than just making it a rolling chassis. So it's still not great. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's the best thing in the world. This is basically a go-kart kit chassis for the A-arms up front. I did have to modify it. The big challenge with this thing, it's because of the size, even though it looks kind of big, it's actually really pretty small. It's a true two-third scale model representation. So the tire height is the same. They're not as wide, but they are definitely the same height as a two-third scale would be, and the same diameter. So that means that when we put the body on here, the two-third scale body on here, we're really going to be able to see if everything kind of lines up and is proportionally correct. And the back tires are the same. So the back tires are a little bit bigger, and they're staggered out a little bit more. So as you can see, I got this 600cc motor. It's a Kawasaki motor that we harvested out of a bike that was totaled. It was literally full of water. Didn't think it was going to run at all. So we got the bike here. Then we're going to use a Honda CR-V diff. Why? Because I had it laying around the shop and they're dirt cheap. So I'm going to cover this a little bit more because this is actually kind of cool. Cool idea, because most go-karts don't have a true diff in them. And then we've got some Miata uprights with some custom A-arms. So this project here is going to be, the next video that I'm going to be doing will be on this thing, get this to a rolling status. It's almost rolling. These things aren't quite connected yet. So, but we're going to get this thing running. This will also be running with a fuel tech. So the goal is to have everything running on the fuel tech. So the MR2, the electric, the gas version, and the mini split D will all be running the fuel tech. I actually can use the same fuel tech and just actually do a program overlay, so I can actually pop the unit out and go from car to car, which is pretty cool actually. So we're pretty excited about that. So anyway, so I just again want to say thanks for checking me out if you're coming over from PFI Speed. Really appreciate you guys taking the time and seeing what I've got going on here. Hopefully you enjoy the content and consider sticking around. And for anybody else who's already been here, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it.